guys? It's your boy Benny. I am a fighter. What does that mean? Well, I probably wouldn't be very good in the UFC. I wouldn't be any good in a boxing match, but I like throwing punches in our arena. I think it's important for people to win out on ideas. I want people to criticize me online, to come after me in the mentions, and for us to have a brawl. May the best man win, and may the best people who are fighting honestly in the ring be champions. It's important to have the fight. It's important to have debate. And it's important for us as a party, specifically conservative, freedom-minded people, to be able to choose our champion based on who's the biggest and best brawler. Now, of course, I contrast this with the Democrat Party that has regularly schlonged Bernie Sanders, kept him from running in two different races. Bernie Sanders was going to be the nominee in 2016. He was going to be the nominee in 2020. And they just backstabbed that guy. They were able to absolutely rig it against Bernie and were able to prop up their preferred candidate. And that candidate ends up losing, right? That candidate ends up being Joe Biden, right? It's always bad for America when the corporate consultant class and the managerial class in DC decide to do something for us. That's how we get Mitt Romney and John McCain as our candidates for Republicans. And so, ladies and gentlemen, it's really good to allow the battle to happen and to allow the bruiser to win. Here's the issue that I have right now with the Republican Party and our primary process. Is that there aren't two Republicans running in the primary process. There's actually Donald Trump running against a Democrat plant, who is Nikki Haley. Nikki Haley is a Democrat literally in name, meaning she is acting as a Democrat, saying things about Donald Trump that only Hillary Clinton would say, making arguments that only your hero Hillary Clinton would make. Nikki Haley is the chosen candidate of the managerial class. She is the stalking vulture, floating and hovering above Donald Trump, hoping that something terrible happens and she can swoop in. I mean, it is grotesque, actually, watching it. And when you dig into the data, you can see that Nikki Haley is not just a Democrat in policy, but only supported by Democrats. Check this out. Nearly half of Nikki Haley's Iowa backers say they'd vote for Biden over Trump. Well, who would that be exactly? That would be Democrats. Now, we made this point ad nauseum, but I think it's important to make it once more as Donald Trump is beginning to bring to light the fact that Nikki Haley couldn't even rate. She wouldn't even register in a primary without Democrats literally supporting her. Watch.
Things, but think of this number. 50% of Haley's voters said they were voting for Joe Biden in November. What the hell kind of a Republican candidate is?
What the hell kind of a Republican candidate is that? Donald Trump is beginning to ask. Donald Trump is asking this openly on the campaign stage and then releasing ads, a threat from within. A threat from within. What does that mean? Well, that language says that Hillary Clinton, Nikki Hillary, which is what we are going to call her on this program, Nikki Hillary is somebody who is running from inside of the Republican Party as a Democrat. They've already screwed it up with Joe Biden. They can't get rid of him. If they did get rid of him, you'd have Kamala Harris, who's less popular than Joe Biden. She'd lose more to Donald Trump. And so if you've already destroyed and rotted out the corpse of one party, the best thing you can possibly do is run a Democrat inside the Republican Party, which is precisely what Hillary is doing. And Haley is doing. And you can see here in the new Donald Trump ad that is what they are calling her, a plant. Donald Trump is doing this from the campaign trail, saying Nikki Haley is actually a globalist, warmongering Democrat.
What happens? We're going to win this election. We're going to have a great border. We're going to have more energy than you've ever had. And we're never going back. So if you want a losing candidate who puts America last, vote for Nikki Haley. But if you want a president who puts America first and did it successfully for 4 years, I'm the only. Did you ever read the stat that I'm the first president that didn't go into and start a war? I finished some wars, like with ISIS. And remember when I was running against, and I don't use that nickname anymore because I gave it to Biden, Hillary. Beautiful, beautiful Hillary. Remember when? And she got up and she said, with his personality, we'll be starting wars. No. I finished wars. I took our people out. Surprising.
So Donald Trump calling Nikki Haley a globalist, saying that she is just like Hillary Clinton, and thankfully saying that she is not going to be the vice presidential nominee. That is what has been sort of floated out there. And thank God, according to Trump, that ain't going to happen.
Vice President, you know, you can go. No, you can go. You can go and you can say certain things, you know, I don't like them and blah, 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 and this. But when you say certain things, it sort of takes them out of play, right? I can't say, she's not of the timber to be a vice, and then say, ladies and gentlemen, I'm proud to announce that I've picked. Do you understand? But that's the way it is, okay? Tell it like it is. Tell it like it is.
Donald Trump telling it like it is in a recent interview with Fox News, saying effectively that Nikki Haley would not be a good president because she is a globalist fool, adding, again, that he likes taking a riff off of Nikki Haley's birth name. I don't know why people find this offensive to say that her birth name is Nimrata. This is her given name at birth. I'm unaware as to why people are so upset about this, but I mean, I don't get it. She's the one who's calling for all of us to use our real names online. Nikki Haley has made that argument that everyone needs to register with the government with their real name and ID in order to use the internet. And so I don't find it any problem that Donald Trump riffs off her name. I actually find it kind of funny. Here we go.
When you said yesterday that she was a globalist fool, you know, back when she was your UN ambassador, you did praise her quite a bit in that job, even when she was leaving that job. So she pushes back and refers to those times.
I just wanted to tell you that we will miss you. We'll be speaking all the time, but we will miss you nevertheless, and you have done a fantastic job. Well, look, she is a globalist. I've always known that about her. And our country cannot be globalist. We don't even have that choice anymore. We owe $35 trillion, and we have to take care of ourselves first. But, you know, I had no wars going on. We defeated ISIS. I defeated ISIS in a matter of months. They said it would take 4 or 5 years. I did it in a few months. And I just took everybody. I was taking everybody out. It was the opposite. I rebuilt the military, but the opposite. And we really had peace through strength in this country. But I got to know everybody, and I got to know Nikki very well. Nikki was not a great negotiator. She had certain things that she was good at, but she wouldn't be good for this job. I can tell you that right now.
So when she points back to you praising her, and now she says that you're using a nickname based on her given name, Nimrata. You called her Nimbra in a post the other day. Why do you do that?
Well, I do that with a lot of people, like Hutchinson. I mean, he was polling at 0 for about 1 year, and I called him, rather than Asa, I called him Ada Hutchinson, and it just felt good to me. And with her, it's just something that came. It's a little bit of a takeoff on her name, you know, her name, wherever she may come from. But it's just.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean?
It's a little bit of a takeoff. I look at her name. I look at a lot of people. You know, I do a lot of names for people, like Pocahontas. She said, my mother said I look like an Indian, so I started calling her Pocahontas. Some people say I'm very good at that, but I can't get into too many because many of those people that I named like that are Republicans, and we don't want to bring that up. But no, it's just it's a takeoff. I have fun with it. And sometimes, to tell you the truth, it's a very effective tool.
So we are particularly happy that Donald Trump's campaign is now hitting hard Nikki Haley and doing, I think, just insurmountable damage to Nikki Haley in this campaign. She absolutely deserves it. Of course, it's not just Donald Trump. Many of the people who have joined Donald Trump on the campaign trail, like Vivek Ramaswamy, have been going in hard on Nikki Haley for cutting Social Security, Medicare, veterans benefits, and sending all that money to Ukraine. That is exactly what Nikki Haley wants to do because she is a puppet of the super state. Thankfully, she is going to lose. Trump leads Nikki Haley by 19 points in New Hampshire, according to a Suffolk-Boston poll. Now, New Hampshire does allow for the people who vote to switch parties. And so you may have another one of these effects, right? It's important to jump down into the crosstabs here. Check this out. You're always going to have like some section of Republicans who are just like, I don't like Donald Trump. And if that happens, you have a section of Democrats that are like, I don't like Biden. I'm not going to vote Democrat. Okay, fine. That looks like 10% approximately of Republicans say that they would switch over and vote for Biden in the election. I think that's wildly high, but nonetheless, you're always going to have that strange bird out there. But here is where you really get the bird brain data right here from Nikki Haley supporters, where 50% of them nearly say that they would vote for Biden. So what does that tell you? Manchurian candidate. She's not real. Not real. Completely and totally not only supported by Democrats, but voted for by Democrats. I mean, my voice cracks. I'm blue in the face saying this and playing these clips, but they are embarrassing and important for you to see. Nikki Haley's top fundraisers declaring that it is Democrats who are funding her campaign. They did this live on Fox News. This was a huge blunder.
To the quarter before that. So the money train is still flowing and going. Are you worried, though?
Thank you, Neil, for having me, and Happy New Year. We actually have a large fundraiser on the 30th of January at a major apartment in New York City where we're raising a tremendous amount of money. Believe it or not, a number of it coming from Democrats.
Oh, okay. So here's Nikki Haley's biggest donor just straight up saying, yep, it's Democrats who are fundraising for her campaign. Ladies and gentlemen, why would Democrats support Nikki Haley's campaign? Well, because Nikki Haley supports Democrats. Nikki Haley has fetishized Hillary Clinton, saying that Hillary Clinton is her inspiration for running for president and her inspiration in her political career. And then Nikki Haley takes the side of Democrats and the side of the superstate and establishment, Washington, D.C. establishment, warmongering state, every time. We played you clips ad nauseum. We could play clips for the next 2 hours about this, but here's a clip of Nikki Haley backing up the BLM riots. So whilst BLM was rioting, pillaging, destroying our nation, Nikki Haley was literally giving speeches how in favor of them she is. Why do you need a Democrat party when you can just elect a Republican who's a Democrat?
Last year, we've seen similar situations elsewhere. New York City and Baltimore, and of course, Ferguson, Missouri. There were incidents involving white police officers and unarmed black victims. In all three of those cases, there was civil unrest at truly awful levels. The riots in Ferguson and Baltimore were senseless. You know what? Black lives do matter.
It's kind of like you ever watch Toy Story? Woody, somebody pulls the ripcord. Somebody's poisoned the water hole. There's a snake in my boot. It's just the same thing. Nikki Hillary, same thing. You just pull the ripcord and you just get the slogan from Nikki Hillary. Enough of this. I'm glad that Trump's cutting ads against her. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the new ad that Donald Trump has launched against Nikki Haley in New Hampshire.
Americans were promised a secure retirement. Nikki Haley's plan ends that.
Social Security, Medicare, how would you manage the entitlements?
We say the rules have changed. We changed retirement age to reflect life expectancy. What we do know is 65 is way too low, and we need to increase that.
Haley's plan cuts Social Security benefits for 82% of Americans. Trump will never let that happen.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
I guess we'll find out soon enough if this polling holds up. Donald Trump leading by nearly 20 points in New Hampshire. Donald Trump may go on to be the first Republican who ran in a contested Republican primary for the nomination to win all 50 states. We'll see. It's your boy Benny. Like, share, and subscribe. See ya.